Okay, I'll bite. Shit It Sucks mentioned something in the video that I'm responding to about mentioned a little bit about, just barely touched on the DMCA and software patents and licenses. And you know what? I think that's an interesting direction to take this conversation. Now, I've talked a little bit about my issues with the Digital Millennium Copyrights Act in a previous video because and what gets lost in a lot of this is you have basically you're talking about two different things. You've got patent law and copyright law. Okay, traditionally, copyright law applied to printed material, uh, movies, uh, music. That's all covered under copyright. And what a copyright does is it gives an artist or an author uh, or a publisher exclusive rights for a period of time uh, to uh, to realize financial benefit from that copyrighted work. Uh, which is why there's a lot of stuff that and it's for a period of years and I'm not a lawyer so I can't tell you how long that period is, but after a period of years, and I think it's actually fairly long, uh, that printed material, that music, that video enters into the public domain. But until it does enter the public domain, there's also a doctrine within the body of copyright law called fair use. And what fair use says is that you can take, you can use a portion of of a previous work, and as long as you cite it or do whatever, it really applies in like academics, uh, and you're not basically stealing or plagiarizing it, but for further artistic or even or academic edification, uh, you can you can do that under fair use. Uh, Fair use also covered uh, the court. If you remember when VHS first came out, uh, the courts ruled that people could use their VCRs to record television shows or football games for their own later personal viewing. The courts also ruled that fair use covered if if I bought a record, an LP, I could uh, I could record that LP onto a cassette tape, make a personal use copy of that. Now, where the DMCA comes in is that because and this is, think about a DVD. Most DVDs are encoded. They're encrypted, and DVD players have a decryption circuit that allows you to watch the DVD. It was a form of copy protection. DMCA makes it illegal to bust copy protection. Okay, to break copy protection. So, and it's still an unsettled legal question whether fair use doctrine trumps the DMCA in that, because technically, under just letter of the law, it is illegal under the DMCA to rip a DVD to your hard drive uh, to watch for later use, even though you might have a legal copy. You went to wherever and you bought a legal copy of that DVD, because you have to break the encryption on it, you're violating the DMCA. And talking a little bit about software patents, and this is where the free software folks, I mean, go nuts, and not in a good way, over software patents, because basically a patent, like a copyright, where copyright generally applies to written material but has been expanded to apply to software, which is okay, because I can see where you could copyright source code. That makes perfect sense to me. But anyway, software patents, the owner, what a patent does is it gives an inventor exclusive right to sell, market, do whatever with their invention for a period of years. And what software patents do, and say Microsoft owns a whole lot of patents on a whole lot of software. What Microsoft does is they license their software. See, you gotta understand, when you go down to Best Buy and you buy that copy of Windows 7 Ultimate, okay, you are not buying Windows 7 Ultimate. You are purchasing an agreement with Microsoft to install and use that operating system on your computer. Okay, you don't own jack. Basically, you are basically, I guess, one-time fee per pet, but you're basically renting it. You're leasing the right to use that software, and that's the way. That's really what all software licenses are, even free and even open source licenses. There is still someone out there who probably holds a patent on that technology, but they have decided to, in order to further develop that technology along, they've decided to release it under an open source license so other people can improve the work. Now, does that mean if I'm a software developer and I release stuff on open source, does that mean that I can't make money on it? Not at all. Ask Red Hat. Red Hat makes all kinds of money on open source software. Of course, they do it selling support, but but yeah, you can, the money can be made in open source. Now, open source versus proprietary licensing, the argument has been made, like the Bill Gates argument is, if you don't let programmers or companies patent the software that they write, the technology that they create, then they don't have a financial incentive to continue to build on and improve on and innovate the software. The free software argument flips that around and says, if you load software down with patents and restrict it and close it off, then you stifle innovation, because you restrict who can look at the source code and find bugs and improve it. So that's kind of the difference there. Who's right? I don't know. Show that sucks said it. There are instances where it makes sense, where open source makes sense, and there's instances where it doesn't. Actually, I would argue the example he used of where it doesn't make sense is in security software, and I would argue that actually open source makes sense in developing security software, because yeah, you're going to find the holes in it, but the sooner you find the hole in it, the sooner it can get fixed and get patched and make it more secure. But okay, I'm up on time, and I'll get off here. Thanks for watching.